Dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All worship Prabhupada and Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Aphatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we are in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 6, Chapter 14, King Chitraketu's Lamentation, text 25 to 36. Text 25. As a person aggrieved by hunger and thirst is not pleased by external gratification of flower garlands or sandalwood pulp, I am not pleased with my empire, opulence, or possessions, which are desirable even for great demigods, because I have no son. Text 26. Therefore, O great sage, please save me and my forefathers, who were descending to the darkness of hell, because I have no progeny. Kindly do something so that I may have a son to deliver us from hellish conditions. Text 27. In response to the request of Maharaja Chitraketu, Angira Rishi, who was born of Lord Brahma's mind, was very merciful towards him. Because the sage was a greatly powerful personality, he performed a sacrifice by offering oblations of sweet rice to Twasta. Text 28. O Parikshit Maharaj, best of the Bharatas, the remnants of the food offered in the yajna were given by the great sage Angira to the first and most perfect king, most perfect among Chitraketu's millenniums of queens, whose name was Kritadyuti. Text 29. Thereafter, the king sage told the king, O great king, now you will have a son, who will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation. The sage then left, without waiting for Chitraketu's response. Text 30. As Kritika Devi, after receiving the semen of Lord Shiva from Agni, conceived a child named Skanda, Kartikeya. Kritadyuti, having received semen from Chitraketu, became pregnant after eating remnants of the food from the yajna performed by Angira. Text 31. After receiving semen from Maharaja Chitraketu, the king of Surasena, Queen Kritadyuti gradually developed in her pregnancy. O King Parikshit, just as the moon developed during the bright fourth night. Text 32. Thereafter, in due course of time, a son was born to the king. Hearing news of this, all the inhabitants of the state of Surasena were extremely pleased. Text 33. King Chitraketu was especially pleased. After purifying himself by bathing and by decorating himself with ornaments, he engaged learned Brahmanas in offering benedictions to the child and performing the birth ceremony. Text 34. On to the Brahmanas who took part in the ritualistic ceremony, the king gave charity of gold, silver, garments, ornaments, villages, horses, and elephants, as well as 60 crores of cows, 600 million cows. Text 35. As a cloud indiscriminately pours water on the earth, the beneficent King Chitraketu, to increase the reputation, opulence, and longevity of his son, distributed like rainfall of all desirable things to everyone. Text 36. When a poor man gets some money after great difficulty, his affection for the money increases daily. Similarly, when King Chitraketu, after great difficulty, received a son, his affection for his son increased day by day. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prashanti Mati. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Achyuta Radhika Mati, whenever you're ready, you can start, Mati.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Start with the prayers. Om Gyanantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamadam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganadata Shri Vishakhanvatam Sham Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for the opportunity today, and thank you Prashanti Mataji for reading the verses. Let me share my screen real quick. So so we're basically this is the past life of Vritrasur. So you know, as we heard yesterday and day before about Maharaj Chitraketu. So we're on that particular story, like how Maharaj Chitraketu, he was very distressed because he did not have a son. So the analogy given here in text 25 is that of a person who is aggrieved by hunger and thirst, and he's not pleased by anything that is offered to the person externally, like flower garlands or sandalwood pulp. So Chitraketu Maharaj is telling Angira Rishi, who is visiting him, and that I'm not pleased. Nothing is satisfying me because I don't have a son. So this basically is something like a Prabhupada often quoted this analogy of a bird in a golden cage. So if we put a bird in a golden cage, and if we do everything surrounding the bird to the bird's comfort, like let's say if we put put the bird in a golden cage, if we put a bed in the cage for the bird to sleep, or we give all the external facilities, we put the bird, keep him in an AC environment, and everything like that, but if we do not feed the bird, then the bird is not satisfied. Okay, so similarly, if our soul is not satisfied, if our soul is hungry and thirsty, then no matter whatever externals we give to ourselves, to it in terms of our body, it will not be we will not be satisfied. We as souls will not be satisfied. So the satisfaction is very crucial for us to uh, for us to basically be happy, bring happiness into our lives. In text, going back to text 20, I like this purport, even though this purport is only 2 lines, but Prabhupada mentioned here that Angira Rishi asked the king whether his mind was also under control. So this is most essential for happiness. So Prabhupada says that mind control is, you can be just like King Chitraketu. You can have all the opulence, all the, he had some millions of wives. He had everything. He had wealth, knowledge, beauty, and youth, and everything. But he did not. But his mind was basically not satisfied because he did not have a son. So that was what was very was affecting him, his personal life, his entire it was even showing on his face. So Angira Rishi was actually he could see he could see Maharaj Chitraketu's face, and he could tell that oh, you look like this, you look pale, you don't look happy, what is going on. So yeah, so basically it affects the entire existence, if our mind is not satisfied. And that is why and that's what is mentioned. Like, he's Chitraketu Maharaj is also revealing to Angira Rishi that, because he doesn't have a son, that's why he's not he's not happy. And this brings a very important point about the Dati Pratigranati. When we are associating with devotees, when we are associating with sadhus, we should try to reveal our mind. We should not just be like, oh, hello, how are you? Like, Hare Krishna, how are you? Like, we should basically build this deeper relations with devotees, so that we can so that mentally we can be where we should be, and this so basically Maharaj Chitraketu revealed to Angira Muni that, he is please he's mentioning that, please save me and my forefathers, because, if I don't have a son, then I will not be able to deliver my ancestors from the hellish conditions. So that is what he's revealing his mind that way. And Angira Rishi, in response to Maharaj Chitraketu, he was because Angira Rishi was born from, like, Brahmaji's mind, so he could actually tell what Chitraketu Maharaj is thinking, and how, like, what is he going through. So yeah, so that was the reason that he asked him. But yeah, as soon as he heard this request from Maharaj Chitraketu, he was very merciful. He performed a sacrifice, and in text 27 it says, he performed a sacrifice by offering oblations of sweet rice to Twashta. And I tried to look up who Twashta personality is, but I couldn't really find. But if somebody knows, please feel free to share. Um, all I could find about Twashta was that he was the father of Vishwarup. Um, so that's all I could find about Twashta. I couldn't really get anything else. Um, and again, like, today's verses are like very we don't really have Prabhupada doesn't really have Prabhupada hasn't written any purports to it, except for verse 29. That's the only verse that has purport today, so that would be the verse to read for today. um so then Angira Rishi, he performed the sacrifice, and the remnants of the yagya, the sweet rice that was offered to Twashta, that was given to Maharaj Chitraketu. And then Maharaj Chitraketu, he gave it amongst the millions of queens that he had. He gave it to his first wife, that whose name was Kritadyuti. So she was his favorite wife from the beginning, and he gave this sweet rice to her. And then text 29, Angira Rishi is saying that, O great king, now you will have a son who will be both the cause of jubilation and lamentation. And then Angira Rishi left without waiting for Chitraketu's response. So this was basically on purpose, that he didn't wait, to talk more in detail about what he's predicting. But the reason is, it says reason basically mentioned was, he did not want Chitraketu to know that, what will be the cause of his lamentation. So Maharaj Chitraketu, he thought that, oh, I will have a son, so that will be the cause of jubilation, and maybe, the son will not, because he will have everything in his power. Like, he will have opulence, he'll be the only child, so he will have the entire kingdom. So he will be very proud, he will not listen to me, he will be probably be disobedient, and like that. So that will bring me some lamentation. So that was what he was thinking, that he never thought that, the child will not live that long. So he basically thought that, he will probably not listen to his father, he'll probably be arrogant, and like that. So but he said that, I will deal with all of that, at least I will have a son. So that is what yeah that is what um like, he Angira Rishi didn't elaborate anything, and he just left. And then, after receiving the sweet rice from Chitraketu, Tritadyuti became pregnant, and So just like the example given is like how Kritika Devi, she received the semen of Lord Shiva from Agni. She also conceived a child called Kartikeya or Skanda. So similarly, Maharaj Chitraketu's wife also received the sweet rice, and then she became pregnant. And text 31 says, after receiving semen from Maharaj Chitraketu, the king of Shurasen, Queen Kritadyuti gradually developed in her pregnancy, just as a moon develops during the bright fortnight. So she became pregnant, and then she delivered a son. So in text 32, it says, hearing this news, all the inhabitants of the state were extremely pleased. Maharaj Chitraketu was over the moon. He gave a lot of charity. He gave a lot of gold ornaments, whatever he could give. It says he gave like 600 million cows, in charity. And so just like somebody who's always been living in poverty, and suddenly if they get a lottery, then they try to they typically spend a lot of their money. So similarly, like that, like Chitraketu, he didn't have a son, and now as soon as he had a son, he became very happy, and he started giving a lot of his wealth in charity. um and then it says, he started giving charity indiscriminately. So as a cloud indiscriminately pours water on earth, um the King Chitraketu, basically he started giving charity to increase his son's opulence, longevity, reputation, etc. Text 36, which is the last verse for today, says, when a poor man gets some money with after great difficulty, his affection for the money increases daily. So similarly, King Chitraketu, after great difficulty, received a son. His affection for the son increased day after day. So Maharaj Chitraketu, he was wanting a son for a very long time, and that's the reason that he married so many times. So Prabhupada says in the previous verses that he married so many millions of wives because he couldn't get a son from any of the wives. So if you don't have something, and if you get it after a lot of effort, lot of time, then you then basically you have a lot of affection, you have a lot of attachment for that particular thing. So same thing here. uh, Chitraketu Maharaj was very very affectionate to his son, and it kept increasing day after day. So and yeah, I mean, we don't really have a lot of purport here for today's verses, but so I don't so I'd like to pause here. If anybody has anything else to share, please feel free. Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so about the Twasta, you're like you said, main thing we know about him is the father of Vishwarupa. Like in the previous chapters, we hear about how Vishwarupa did the yagna for Indra, and ultimately Indra offended him because um, Twasta had a wife who is coming from the demoniac family side. So that way Vishwarupa was doing favor for the mother's side also, demonic side also. So then Indra became angry. So that's how the whole pastime is going on. So we know in that context only. From the verse you are reading, we know that he's considered one of the demigods, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we. That's also I also know only that much, Mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I wasn't sure like why, because is he a demigod, or is he just the father of some, of Vishwarup? So yeah, I wasn't sure
Yeah.
like why he was offered oblations. So yeah, thank you, bro.
Welcome, Achyuta Mate. Yeah, and another thing I just wanted to highlight a couple of things since we have a few minutes only. One is that we see from this pastime of Chitraketu how even though he has so many opulences like Achyuta Mataji described in terms of power, in terms of wealth, in terms of beauty, knowledge she described, in spite of all this, he was not happy because one son was not there. Similarly, if you look at many of the people in the world, including our own life, what happens if you're focusing on something in the material world that I need to get to become happy? We'll always find something that will cause suffering to us, pain to us. That is why Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita that this world is called Dukkhalayam Asashvatam. That means this world is temporary place and world is full of misery. So basically, for the person who is trying to enjoy the world, who is trying to enjoy with the things and people in the world, if that if their consciousness is like that, then it's always full of misery only. Something or other will keep up coming. So generally there is a consciousness of a karmi. Karmi means somebody who's thinking that everything is meant for my enjoyment. Like that. Everybody, everything, including God. I go before God, ask him, can you give me this nice car so I can be happy? Can you give me this nice home so I can be happy? Can you give me a nice wife so I can be happy? So everybody and everything is for my enjoyment, like that. When we have that consciousness, it's very, very hard to deal with anything lacking in our life. But the practicing devotee, as a practicing devotee, what do? We count our blessings, as it said. So that means we understand what all the gifts that Krishna has given us in our life, and we cultivate gratitude for them on a regular basis, as a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, like that. Whenever we take time to pause and reflect, we count our blessings, what all we have. That does two things. Then we are focused on what we already have. So we're happy and grateful for what we received already, number one. Number two, we'll be focused on using what we have. Instead of opposite consciousness is, oh, they have that, I don't have that. They have a wonderful wife, they have a wonderful husband, they have a wonderful children, I don't have that. So that consciousness actually takes us away from satisfaction and takes us into more misery, because we're focusing on what we do not have instead of focusing on what we have. That is one thing that happens. Second thing that happens, like Mataji showed one two sentence purport where happiness comes with mind control, like that. So if our mind is distracted with different things, then mind is not controlled. Then we don't feel happy. And similarly, we're not satisfied when we're always comparing with others, like that, in that sense. So, and without satisfaction, there's no happiness. So that's the other aspect to note. So instead, as practice devotees, first thing we talked about is understand what we have in our life and be grateful for what we have in our life. And ideally, connect what we have, not just being grateful. I'm happy that I have a good home, not to stay there, but connect that to Krishna and Guru's mercy. I'm grateful that Krishna has given me this beautiful home. I'm grateful Krishna has given me that wonderful wife and husband. Like that. That is how we need to connect to the Krishna and Guru's mercy. Then we'll develop our relationship with Krishna, like that. That's another thing. And then when we develop gratitude to Krishna, Prabhupada writes in the first canto, one of the purports, that simple and grateful heart is what is needed for devotion service. Basically, when we develop simplicity and gratitude, then it's also described gratitude is a seed of love. That's how we can develop love for Krishna. Because when I'm grateful, oh, this devotee this did this for me, then I want to naturally do something for them, like that. Similarly, when I'm grateful that Krishna has given me this, Krishna has given me nice birth in a wonderful family, Krishna has given me nice job, Krishna has given me enough money to live properly, Krishna has given me nice home, Krishna has given me the nice car, Krishna has given me nice clothes. When we understand this gratefulness, cultivate this gratefulness in our heart, then we naturally want to do something for Krishna. I want to, when I'm chanting, I want to chant sincerely for Krishna. I want to pay attention to Krishna's holy name. That is at least that much I can do for Krishna, like that. When there's an opportunity to help someone in growing in bhakti, I want to help something like that. Like that, that gratitude leads to service and love, basically. We all know one of the main ingredient of love is service. So that's how we can do service with that gratitude, and that's how we can cultivate love for Krishna also. So this is one aspect of consciousness of a devotee, seeing what we have and being grateful for that. Second aspect is, remember Chitraketu Maharaj had 10 million wives or something. That means he's trying for so much time to get a child is not coming. So there is a boundary we need to set at some point of time. It's not like a black and white. You need to try for 3 wives, then you can stop. Not like that. You need to try for 3 children and then stop for a son, like that. Not like that. It's a internal boundary we only will realize with Krishna's mercy, by blessings of Krishna, that without doing much endeavor, whatever we receive in our life, we accept that as Krishna's arrangement. But if you have to do lot of endeavor, extraordinary endeavor, that is even affects our devotion service also, then that is understood as atyahara, as too much endeavor for our life. Because it's affecting our sadhana, it's affecting our consciousness in devotion service like that. Then also we need to put a boundary and full stop to that endeavor like that, instead of going so long like that. That's another lesson we can learn from Chitraketu pastime also like this. So, and the third lesson we can learn is, when Chitraketu Maharaj was in distress like this, like Achyuta Mataji highlighted this point, which is, when we're going through distress in our life or practicing devotion service, we consult our superiors, we consult our mentor, we consult our another senior devotee, we consult another friend sometimes even. If you don't have mentor, if you don't have senior devotee, consult another friend who's little wiser than us, who's little bit more advanced than us, like that. So then we consult that friend, we share. Um, Achyuta Mataji was highlighting the point of nectar of instruction, verse number 4. Rupa Goswami uses the word dadati pratignati guhyamakyati prachati. That's a very important principle in association of devotees that Achyuta Mataji was highlighting, which is exchange between devotees is not just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I give a gift, they give a gift. I give some prasadam, they give prasadam. That is important. But beyond that is sharing our heart to confidence in a confidential relationship only, not with all the devotees. In one confidential relationship, we share our heart. You know, I have so many things, but I'm struggling this one thing that's going on in my life. That's not making me happy. I try to chant, but I remember that only. I try to do arti, I remember that only. I try every time is bothering me. Do you know anything? Did you hear anything? Did you read anything about this? What are your thoughts about it? Can you share? Like that, we ask them. Then, if they heard something from scripture, if they heard something from Guru and Sadhu, they'll share something. Or they had a personal experience of something also, they'll share. Then that will help us to become, to understand how to deal with the situation and apply it properly like that. Again, this we do with only devotees, not non-devotees. Number one. Number two, only confidential devotees who can keep their mouth shut. Devotees who can keep their things confidentially. We don't share with a devotee who cannot keep their mouth shut. They'll tell a whole world. Not like that. One devotee where we have confidential relationship, we share with them, we get guidance like that. So that is how we can benefit from the association of devotees, and that's how we can make a plan through the obstacles in devotion service to grow in our relationship with Krishna like that. There is another important lesson we can learn from Chitraketu. What did Chitraketu do in this scenario? Like Achyuta Mataji pointed out, he opened his heart to whom? To Angira Rishi. So that is why when he opened the heart, then the devotee could share something. Similarly, one of the whenever we get time with our Guru Maharaj also, or a spiritual master also, we need to open our heart. We need to share what is troubling us, so they can guide us. If you say, I'm doing well, I'm doing great, okay, good. Hare Krishna. That's all spiritual master also will say. So that's it. We may benefit from the association of superiors by um, openly sharing our heart with them like that. And actually, association word means opening our heart with affection for others. So have faith in the words of others like that. So that Rupa Goswami indicates we should do with devotees, but not with non-devotees like that. In non-devotees, our formal dealings. Hi, hi, how are you doing? Your day is going well? Wonderful. Your children are doing nice? Wonderful. That's it. That is formal dealing. That's all. Not more than that. For opening their heart, opening heart with affection, putting faith in their words. Why? Because if you talk to the non-devotees, they'll tell, okay, if you tell them that, oh, mm, I'm struggling to chant in the morning. Oh, chanting is not good. That's why I don't chant. Better not chant. That is the advice they will give you. So instead, that's why we take guidance of devotees instead. Yeah. So I just wanted to share a couple of things because we had little time only. But thank you, Achyuta Mataji, for a wonderful session highlighting the key points of Chitraketu pastime and opening his heart. That was a very important point. And about the satisfaction you touched on also. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. That's all
Thank you
for
very
low
much.
businesses.
Sir.
Yeah.
Thank you
Srimad
very
Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya
तस्य
कृपासindubhyo
कृपासिन्धुभ्यो
च
च भक्तानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
vaishnavebhyo
नमो
namo
नमः।
namaha.
तो good news to
Thank you,
much.
devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.